Now we come to a place right here in Louisiana called Poverty Point. And what do we find? We find the oldest city, known city in North America. And what does it look like? It's a very unusual place. It is made up of concentric rings. Now, when archaeologists first found Poverty Point, they found it from the air because it's so huge. Between 20 and maybe 50,000 people that long ago lived in this great metropolis. Now, when they found it from the air, it looked like an octagon, like half of it. But since then, it's been learned that it was a complete ringed settlement. You had alternating rings of land and water. Not only that, in Poverty Point, you have the exact same sacred numerals that Plato discussed. He said, in Atlantis, the people of Atlantis worshipped the numbers, not worshipped, excuse me, revered sacred numbers 5 and 6, because 5 represented the male principle, 6 represented the female principle. And that by being in harmony with male and female, you are in harmony with the entire cosmos. You go to Poverty Point, you see the same numbers, 5 and 6 repeated. Not only that, these concentric rings are bisected by canals. Archaeologists now know that these rings were separated by courses of water, exactly the same. But now, here is, I think, the real kicker for that. Poverty Point was made about 1500 BC, that's sure, about 1,500 years before Christ. However, the way we know it today, when it was a huge settlement, at its maximum, when it was really built up, is the year 1,200 years before Christ.
And the other site is called Watson Break, which is really a magnificent site, and it's sort of what Poverty Point used to be. Poverty Point was a mysterious site that came out of nowhere, all of these mounds and ridges, no antecedents. Well, now Watson Break is 2,000 years earlier, and people are suddenly saying the same questions, well, where did this one come from? Watson Break has a lot of similarity to Poverty Point, but it's just this magnificently large site right here in the Washitaw River Valley that we are hoping to turn into a state park in the next year or so, so it'll be available for all of the public to go out and take a look at the site. We just discovered all of these ridges and mounds, and what we have are a total of 11 mounds, and they lettered them. And the largest mound here, A, is about 24 feet high and about 70 to 80 feet across. The second largest mound is 16 feet high and about 50 feet across. And then the smallest mound, K, right here, is only about 3 feet high, with the other mounds varying in size. Now, the yellow stuff that you see here are ridges that they built to connect the mounds. So they weren't just building mounds, they were also building ridges. And for those of you that have been to Poverty Point, you may recall that they have ridges out there too. So this may be where the origin of the concept of ridges and mounds came from, this site called Watson Break south of Monroe, Louisiana. To give you an idea of the distance, from this ridge to this ridge is 300 yards across. That's 3 football fields across. And that's pretty impressive for a site that's averaging about 53 to 5,500 years ago. Right. And remember, Poverty Point dates to 33 to 3,700 years. These are the clay blocks like the ones that we have at Frenchman's Bend. These clay blocks that are with these early mounds, we're only finding them in 3 parishes in Louisiana. They're not being found anywhere else in North America at this point.